Yeah. There is another guy we never talk about as far as a real option for the President of the United States. He's on the ballot in 50 states. Barack Obama. His qualifications are simple.
Considered that.
Yeah, number one, he has leadership experience.
Okay.
He's been President of the United States for about 3 years.
All right.
Okay, that's number one. That's a big one, I think.
That's a pretty big one.
Okay. Number two.
Yeah.
So he is available to vote for.
Okay.
As well. So that's something you should consider. However, he's trying to make his pitch, and he did so on the Des Moines Register website. I was checking the results as they came in, and I noticed an ad from Barack Obama. Here's the night of the Republican primary. You want to, obviously, you're going to pitch to people who might be winnable. They're going to check the website for the results, and they'll see your ad. This is the ad he chose to post, which says that Barack Obama is keeping his promises. And it says, promise kept, and they list 4 promises. Are you ready for the 4 promises?
I am. Let's hear.
I don't know if we need.
Do we need drum roll?
I don't think we don't need the drum roll.
We don't need the drum roll.
Because they said there's maybe a little bit extensive. All right, number one.
Number one.
This is not helpful either. I mean, it's possible we could do a segment without a sound effect.
I don't think.
Now let's go back to the drum roll. I think you're right. I think the drum roll is the one. Okay, number one. The number one promise that Barack Obama has kept is he has, quote, made health care affordable. He's made health care affordable. So that's done now.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I remembered seeing some information on that, which was a little interesting. Healthcare, the cost of healthcare went up by 5.7% in 2011. So he made it affordable.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Had he not done what he did, do you know that healthcare would have gone up 936%?
Oh, wow. And is that true for the income thing, too?
Yes.
Okay.
So by taking the action he's taken, it's gone up just how much?
5.7%.
That's
a dream.
A dream come true when it was going to go up 936%.
Right.
Think about how bad it would have been.
Right. So,
and we know now.
Right. We now.
Had he not taken all the steps he's taken,
every one of them,
all of them, unemployment would be. They have saved or created 323 million jobs.
Wow. Because some people will be working 2 jobs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's amazing. And sometimes and some children would be working.
Yeah,
all the children would be
Everybody
working.
from birth would be working. So we don't have to do that.
So, and by the way, though, it's going to turn around next year, healthcare costs, because it went up 5.7% last year, sure. But next year is the year you need to look at when it's projected to go up another 8.5%. So it's only going up by more next year than this year.
And 13% over the 2 years.
Right. So, even more than that. That is a promise kept in Obama's mind. Just so you know, that's number one. Are you ready for number 2? Number 2, promise kept. 2. Yeah, Letterman. I got He cut taxes for every working American.
Every working American had their taxes cut.
I feel so rich.
Wow.
I can't help it.
Wait. I work.
Yeah, and you had your taxes cut.
And I did not have my taxes cut.
Well, there are, of course, been some temporary tax cuts, like the payroll tax cut. And there have been some targeted tax cuts, not targeted at you.
No.
I can promise you very much that it's not targeted at you
I don't
at
think
all.
It was. No.
Or me or Glenn or many, many other millions of Americans.
Horrible, horrible, awful people who make more than $20,000 a year.
Right, I hate those people.
I hate them. I hate their guts.
I can promise you that the targeted tax cuts that were people who didn't pay taxes and just got giant checks from the government, he's counting those, of course, as tax cuts. But the other thing you have to think about here is the only reason he can even, and that's, of course, it's not true, obviously. He's not cut taxes for every working American. That's bullcrap.
It's a lie.
And again, you cut taxes temporarily as a stunt to get some votes or to get something else. I mean, are we really going to celebrate that anyway? And he's not including all the tax raises, all the hikes that are coming from Obamacare, and all the other stuff we've talked about a million times on this program, dozens of tax increases. And if you're a smoker, you know that's true. But beyond that, the only reason he can even half make that claim is because he's failed over and over again at one of his main campaign promises, which was to raise taxes on the wealthy. He's failed at it when he had control of the House and the Senate with a filibuster-proof majority. Mm-hmm. He failed at it after that. He lost dozens of seats partly because he kept going back to that. And every single one of his stupid programs he's tried to pass over the past few years, he has said he's going to pay for it by raising taxes on the wealthy.
Yep.
He campaigned on it. Every single one of his proposals has been backed by that, and he hasn't done it. So can you take credit for not raising taxes when you've tried to raise taxes over and over and over again? How many times has he said the term fair share? Everyone's got to pay their fair share.
Amazing.
That is a tax increase. He just hasn't been successful at it. So that's another promise kept for Barack Obama. Are you ready for number 3?
I'm ready for number 3.
He put in place historic fuel efficiency standards.
Woo!
Yeah!
Rock and roll!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Now,
yeah!
Now that is a promise kept.
All right.
Being that because these standards did happen in the past, they are technically historic. They happened during history. So they are historic technically. Mm-hmm. Now, one might point out that the raising the CAFE standards on cars has been done by numerous presidents over the past few decades. And it's just an extension.
One might point out, I like how you put that. Mm-hmm. A racist would point that out. Somebody who hates black people, someone who hates the president only because he's black would point that out. Yes, you're right, Stu. One might point that out if he was a racist, hateful, hating pig. Mm. So go ahead, point it out.
It's an extension of what Bush did, which was an extension of what every other president has done since, Carter?
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's historic, in fact, that he made cars more expensive, and it's historic in the fact that he's gone further than other people, and it's historic in the fact, but it's like saying that, Barack Obama put into place a historic war in Afghanistan. Okay, well, he added more troops to that war, but that was a war started by a previous president. So beyond that, though, I'm not giving credit to the previous presidents who put these standards in. It's a terrible, terrible law that has, I mean, say all the things you want about jacking the prices of cars up, which it has. But beyond all that, it's killed tens of thousands of people. The National Academy of Sciences estimates that 2,000 people die every year because of CAFE standards, because they make cars lighter. That's how they hit those standards. They make the cars lighter. So when they get in these terrible crashes, more people die. The USA Today, in their study, found that CAFE had killed an additional 46,000 people through 1999, just through 1999.
I hadn't heard that stat.
Pretty amazing.
Not to mention making gas prices rise.
Yeah, and gas prices, of course, I mean, you act as if...
And I'm riled by that.
Well, that's the oil rile.
That's the oil rile right there. We finally found the oil rile.
Oh, wow. Think about that, though. Thousands of people killed, not by the oil rile, but by CAFE standards. And I'm not... Bush is guilty of it. Every president is guilty of it since Carter. It's a terrible, terrible law that should go away. But it won't. And the final promise, that's a promise kept, by the way. He's killed tens of thousands of people. There's a promise kept.
Thank you, Barack Obama.
Final one here. He ended the war in Iraq.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's all over. Now,
promised he would do that.
One might point out.
Oh, okay.
And who would this be?
A racist hater.
Yeah.
A person who hates Barack Obama simply because of his skin color.
Skin color, right. I guess that one person who might point that out could potentially...
You.
Well, I'm not going to say it's me because you've intimidated me from this opinion.
I hope so.
Because you said I'd be racist if I held it.
Yeah.
So, of course, I don't believe that. But shall we remember that Barack Obama was only able to end the war in Iraq because of the policy that Barack Obama opposed, called the surge. Barack Obama opposed the surge, which got rid of the violence which made it possible to end the war in Iraq. So only because he completely opposed a successful policy was he able to implement his promise. And you want to talk about something that Barack Obama actually did inherit from President Bush, it's the success of the surge. This guy is trying to take credit for something that if he were president at the time never would have happened. He himself said that it would make violence worse. And not to mention every other Democrat, including people like Harry Reid, who are saying the war is lost, blah, 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 blah. So that's the way you keep a promise. Let's go over these one more time. Number one, you lie and say you have health care costs under control when you don't, and they're going up statistically. Number two, you take credit for failing at a campaign promise to raise taxes and say that that's a success and a promise kept.
All right.
Number three, you put in place historic fuel efficiency standards in which you kill tens of thousands of people over time. And number four, you end the war in Iraq when you say, hey, I opposed the surge, but because of that, I was able to end the war in Iraq. So because my policies were so bad last time, I'm able to keep a promise this time. That's how you do it. That's leadership right there.
Thank you.
That is leadership.
Thank you.
Wow. And by the way, that's his lead campaign push. When he's wanting to attract viewers' attention, that's the crap he's putting out there, as if that's true.
It's amazing.
Awful.
It's amazing.
He sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
I know.
He sucks so badly. He really does suck.
It's nice to hear you have the same sort of passion for him that I do.
He is really a terrible.
He's a horrible person. He's not just a horrible president. Yeah. He's a horrible person.
Well, he does.
He's a lying, conniving communist.
It's always a step further.
Yeah,
it's always a step.
You got to take it just a little bit further.
I should almost disagree with you, so you just take me to just a slight agreement. You know what I mean? Like I'll just be like, I don't know. I think he's a pretty good president, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think he's that good. And I'm like, all right, well maybe you're right. Let's go to break. That sort of exchange.